Hello, hello. I'm just checking in. I think we are starting the stream. Okay. For those of you who have followed my YouTube channel for a while, and you guys know who you are, I have about 16 loyal and faithful subscribers. Um, you know that I don't do this often. I really don't. I think I've done this once in my entire channel's existence. And normally when I go live, it is not to do anything other than just record the video. And I wanted to record a video where sometimes I could get a little bit of live commentary as I'm talking. And so this live stream will suffice as nothing other than just me recording the video and wanting to see that maybe someone who would come into the chat can want to say something. And if they do, or you're one of the subscribers and you would like to say something, you're more than welcome to put it in the chat. And if it's appropriate to the topic of tonight, then I will address it. For those of you who don't know, or perhaps for those of you who don't know, or perhaps not noticed yet, I'm in a different room than my last couple of videos. I am obviously still here at UNC, but I am back in the dorm rooms now, as James, my roommate, for those of you who might know, has put in a quite comical comment into the comment section. That's got me laughing. But yeah, so I'm in a new room. Let me know if y'all want to see a room tour. Might be able to deliver such.
I need the room tour.
James is commenting. Might be needed. Might need to do that for you guys. Okay, but let's get into it. Had our little 2-minute introduction. So, as you guys can see by the title of this video, or the title of this live stream, this is a video I'm making in response to a comment I heard today from a good friend of mine, guy who I hold in extremely high, I view very highly, hold in very high regard. And you know who you are if you're watching this video, and I'm sure you will be. You know who you are. But I'm making a response to that comment. This is what I'm doing in this video. So, let me start with this. The 2021 college football season has been amazing so far. For those of you who have tuned into quite a few of the games, we've really had quite a variety this season. No team outside of Alabama really looks like world beaters right now, and even Alabama looks beatable to a certain extent. It's been a great college football season so far. We're only through week 3. We're going into week 4 now, and a lot of good things to get ahead to. North Carolina looks pretty good, especially after that defeat in week 1 against Virginia Tech. But Clemson does not. And I got 2 teams, so I got to go 2-0 on the weekends. It's not easy. So, as many of y'all know, Clemson does not look good this year at all. Offense has been lackluster, to say the least. The play calling has been absolutely atrociously god-awful, to put it mildly. And there's been just a lack of creativity amongst the entire team. The defense, on the other hand, has been fantastic. The only team in FBS to hold all 3 of their first, or hold the first 3 opponents without not scoring a touchdown. You guys remember the Georgia game? It was actually the pick 6 that gave Georgia the touchdown in that game, right? So what's going on right here, and what's the prognosis of this, right? So the offense certainly has been sputtering, and it hasn't played well. And Clemson as a whole really has not looked that good so far at all. It's not been good. I'm not gonna come on here and say it has been and try to defend it, because it hasn't. And I want changes just as much as the next person. I think if Elliott needs to go, then he needs to go, and that's the right call. I think if DJ needs to be benched and we need to start Pumachan, then that's what we need to do. I'm not going to sit here and be a homer for one of those guys just because they may have played well last year. Last year was last year. It doesn't matter. Obviously, we're in this year. And one side of the team learned from last year's mistakes and improved drastically this year. The other side didn't. And we're learning that the hard way right now, right? So, I heard a comment today, again, from a person I hold in very high regard. And he asked me, do you think this is the beginning of the end of Clemson football dominance within the ACC? Something along those lines, right? Basically, is this the demise? Are we starting to witness this demise of what's coming? Is this just a flare out? Like, is this the end of this run of dominance we've seen for the last 6 years or so. And it got me thinking. I am. That was a comment from my roommate as well. I just got back from the gym. For those of you who don't notice by the sweat in my hair, got to drink a good amount of water after the gym. Playing some basketball, lifting weights, and all that. Trying to get the gains as much as possible, right? So, let me get back to what I was saying. Is this the beginning of the end? Is it? Terrible question. But perhaps a fair question. If your conscience is constantly inhibited by recency bias, then I guess it is a fair question, right? And this ties into something else too. I don't know if you guys have been following Twitter at all, but if you have surely noticed that the NC State fans are just losing their minds this week. Absolutely losing their minds. NC State has not beaten Clemson since 2011. Clemson has dominated the series in the last 10 years or so, really. And obviously Clemson has had historic success in comparison to NC State, right? So this seems like finally the opportunity. Like this is when it's going to change. This is when State avenges all those losses to Clemson and gets over the hump, right? And to anyone who is jumping on that bandwagon right now, or to anyone who thinks this could be the end of Clemson, or to anyone who thinks that the tide could really be shifting right now in the ACC, I just want to say, be careful what you wish for. Additionally, be careful what you're challenging. Be aware of what you're challenging. Jacqueline Samoa, thank you for tuning into the live. You say not this year, right? Could very well be not this year, right? That's what I'm trying to get at here. Be careful what you want to have happen. Be careful if you really want to see a good game. Because the fact of the matter is, historically, Jake, pleasure to see you. Pleasure to have your acquaintance in the live. James, do you want to talk to Jake? I know you had said something about how you would like to talk to him.
Not recorded.
Okay. All right. Jake, please text Jimmy at the soonest possible availability, or sooner if possible, immediately if possible. He would love to have a conversation with you. There's a lot of things that have transpired, but a pleasure to have you in the live, sir. I am so glad to have you here. If you have any questions, put them in there, right? Perfect. So let me get back to what I was saying. You got to be careful what you ask for, and you got to be careful what you're willing to challenge, because the fact of the matter is, historically, when all right, perfect. If you have to leave the live to text them, that's perfectly fine, or you can just wait till after the live. I don't plan on going much more than this for 5 minutes. But let me get back to this. Historically, when Clemson has been pressed against the wall, we're talking 2018 against Alabama in the national championship game, 2017 against NC State, try to think, 2016 at Florida State. Dabo has had those guys ready to come out, and they've come out on fire, right? And this could be the game where it all clicks. Now, this is 100% wishful thinking. There's nothing in this past season that would indicate that at all. But I'm just saying, to those of you who think this is the beginning of the end, and to those of you who think that State is just going to come out and win this game on Saturday afternoon, you really got to be careful what you're getting yourself into. Don't get rich off the lottery. Don't get your hopes up too high, because the fact of the matter is, Clemson is still Clemson, just like Alabama is still Alabama, just like Ohio State is still Ohio State, and just like Oregon is still, well, not Oregon, still Oregon. Oklahoma is still Oklahoma, right? None of those teams have looked phenomenal so far, but the fact of the matter is, but all those teams are still pretty darn good, and by the end of this thing, they're all going to be together. We know this, right? There might be some volatility in there and some variability as well, but we know what's coming, right? And everyone is well aware of that. And maybe it's just for people who think that they want this to be in. Like maybe people are tired of seeing Clemson and Alabama at the top. But let me tell you, the ACC as a whole is down. NC State's no exception. While they have looked good this year, I don't think they've looked like world beaters either, right? And so you people out there who just want this to be it, and they just want this to be it, and they think this is the end, right? Be very cognizant of what you're saying, because right when you think it's the end, it probably isn't. So with that, you guys probably think, as I get a second guy in the live stream, I think that's Jimmy.
Been here for a while.
Oh, that's good to hear. As I wrap up this live stream, right, I want to get that off my chest and say that. The other thing I wanted to say was Clemson should win this game on paper about 28-3 or 28-6. This game should not be very close. The defense this year is incredibly suffocating for Clemson, that is. And the offense just needs to get some stuff together. Now, I'm not saying that State couldn't win this game. Obviously, they could win this game. They've come really close to beating Clemson in the past, 2016, 2017, right? Those are the 2 years that come up to mind. So obviously, State can win this game. But to all those of you who think this is the year that like Clemson's bound to lose, and this is like it's it, like this is the demise and all that, be careful what you're saying, because just because a team has looked very good the first 3 weeks out of the year doesn't mean that it can't flip. Doesn't mean the switch can't flip. And this has been very customary for Clemson in September to come out quite lackluster and then really hit the stride in October and November, and obviously in December into the playoffs. So just be cognizant of that. And the reason why I started this live was a comment. That person knows who they are. But just think about that before this game comes on Saturday. Thank you guys very much. A little bit shorter of a video than normally is, but I guess it wasn't as much of a rant. Jake, it was a pleasure to have you in the live. Thank you so much for coming.
Franklin, yeah.
Franklin, how? Nikash. Some of you guys who are watching this live will or rewatching this live later will understand that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys around here on campus. You guys have a good one, and yeah, I'll see you around.